We're live.
Okay, well, I've just got another 30 seconds. We're going to say the pledge in about 30 seconds. Right, actually, right now.
Yeah.
Okay, if we could have everybody rise and say pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everybody. Welcome. Human Resources.
Oh, wait, we gotta do
So,
our
yep.
minutes first. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the March 3rd regular meetings. Minutes? I'll get it right.
It's actually the second.
Oh, is it
Roll.
March?
Second.
Oh, March 2nd, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the March 2nd regular meeting minutes.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike? Yes. Tony?
Yes. Good morning, Miss Tammy.
Hello, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing really good. Only update I have is I'm still, I'm gonna be working, with the new Kent State kids, you know, the group that was assigned to us.
Yeah.
So they'll actually, 2 of the 7 of the students will be here on Monday. They're gonna sit through our new hire orientation, just to see how it is, so they could help them prepare and do our project. And then I'll probably be sending out emails to you guys, and you know on what days they're gonna be here to maybe interview you guys and get you do some video, so that any preparation for our new hire orientation PowerPoint slide that they're gonna do for us. Do they have the slimming lens for their video? I'm not sure, but we can figure something out for you.
I'd like that lens.
The Photoshop lens. Yeah, so that's really only it. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, and everything else looks normal, so go ahead. In accordance with section 305.30 of the Ohio Revised Code and this board's resolution 21-0396, part 9I, the Board of Commissioners acknowledges and approves the county administrator's approval too. I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Cindy Moore, Administrator in Child and Adult Protective Services, Children's Services, for the Portage County Jobs and Family Services, effective March 6, 2023.
Second with discussion.
Please.
I would like to speak to some of these people that we're losing out of Job and Family Services, especially administrators.
Okay.
We're losing way too many people, and I don't want to hear it's the money. So if we can arrange that somehow,
Yeah.
I would like to be able to do that.
Do they participate in exit interviews at all at this point in time? No, I think that kind of, from my predecessor, I don't believe that they were doing it before. So, and this was a unique situation, so that's the reason for the, for her to decide on so quickly on this
Sure.
one.
So we did away with exit interviews. In lieu of exit interviews, we started doing interviews at 30, 60, 90 with employees, because I thought it was better to have input when they're first hired than when they're on their way out the door. But we would certainly entertain any.
So the purpose is I think is somebody's leaving. There has to be a reason. I mean, it could be a family emergency. It could be pay. It could be to have an idea. As Mike's note that that's him being here for 3 months is saying how come so many people are leaving. So I agree 30, 60, but at the end too
So we can circle back to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike? No. Tony?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to authorize the 3-day internal posting of non-bargaining position for Administrator in Child and Adult Protective Services, Children's Services for the Portage County Job and Family Service with an external posting if no internal appointment is made.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike? Yes. Tony?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to agree to rescind the recommendation to hire Duchess Murray for the OMJ Case Manager position for the Portage County Department of Jobs and Family Services due to candidate declining the position, and authorize the reposting of this position.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike? Yes. Tony?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Matt Brown, Regional Wastewater Superintendent for the Portage County Water Resources, effective March 31st, 2023.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike? Yes. Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to authorize the 3-day internal posting of non-bargaining position for a regional wastewater superintendent, Portage County Water Resources, with an external posting if no internal appointment is made.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve anniversary and probationary step increase for the following non-bargaining employees: Christine Hera, JFS, Kaylin Kane, JFS, Lisa Lemire, JFS, Sharon Spence, JFS.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy. Yep. We got Jackie. There she is.
Morning, Miss Jackie.
Morning.
Morning.
Hi.
Hi.
Anything good for us?
Nothing that interesting. I mean, nothing out of the ordinary.
Ordinary.
Right.
Yeah. All right. In accordance with Section 305.30K of the Ohio Revised Code and the Board's Resolution 21-0396 and the Board's Resolution 21-0878, the Board of Commissioners acknowledges and approves the County Administrator's approval to direct the Auditor's Office to process the March 2nd, 2023 bills, ACH payments, wires, journal vouchers, and then announce as applicable, contingent upon the verification of the reports as presented by the County Auditor and reviewed by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to process the March 2nd, 2023 budget amendments as reviewed and recommended by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 0001 General Fund to Fund 1414 Child Support General Administration.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 4252 Silica Sand Road Bridge Replacement Fund to Fund 1201 Motor Vehicle and Gas Tax.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 4253 Hartville Road Resurfacing to Fund 1201 Motor Vehicle and Gas Tax.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve expenses for the Portage County Regional Airport Authority.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Boy,
Thanks,
Jackie, that was quick.
That's because of my fast reading and
But
action.
we're trying to screw you up.
We kind of like my stutter, though.
You like how he stutters
Yes.
when he reads?
Morning, Shannon.
Morning. Hi, Shannon.
Hey there. My favorite day. Tell me updates.
Updates.
Project
I
update.
like.
Well, first I want to ask for some money. No.
Okay.
No, it says update.
Oh yeah, I have that, but I do have another.
Okay.
Before I start the project updates, we need to purchase a new maintenance truck. Our truck is from 2008, and it's shown its years, so it's starting to rust. And I talked to Jackie about it a little bit, but I got a price, including equipment, for $54,000. It's a F-250, but we also need a salt spreader on it and a plow.
Package on it.
So,
How
but
much
it
does that add to it?
it's 54 total.
oh,
Total with it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not
I didn't
bad.
think it was horrible, but
No.
I have to get it from the general fund, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, we can have Jackie look at that as long as. Do you have any comment on that at this point, or do you need to get back to us, circle back?
Yeah, I can get back to you.
Okay.
during
next
yours,
week.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
But if it's there, I can't imagine us not doing it.
Yeah, it's just one, so it's,
Okay.
they usually treat them very well. I'm surprised. it
How old
actually
is this
lasts.
one?
2008. Yeah.
Yeah. Project updates.
Yes.
Well, it's the Botsy twins. No one gave me the memo to wear purple today.
What happened?
I know.
It went in late.
Okay, I don't have a ton. The administration building, the estimated time to start on the first floor, the hallway there, is supposed to be next week. So they're gonna start ripping off the wallpaper on the first floor, and then, am I talking about something else? You guys, am I good? Oh, okay. I thought I was confusing somebody.
No,
On the first floor, they're gonna tear out the wallpaper, and then they're gonna paint.
all the way through?
Yep.
To
all the way
treasurer's.
to the treasurer's.
The
And I
office.
had a question. Are they going to continue the flooring, that nice flooring that stops at the end? Because I had Congressman Joyce's person, Tom Queen. He was all excited. I said, well, they're going to get rid of the wallpaper because he has to get some signage and stuff. And he asked if they were going to continue that nice flooring.
We were not going to,
Okay.
but we can if you would like us to look
Nice.
into it.
I like it.
I think so.
I wanted
if
to
we
do it. It's
can,
just so
but I don't
funky because
know.
it goes. You know how it goes up,
I know.
and they can do that.
Oh,
They can make it go up to because
well,
that's terrazzo
yeah.
tile, so it's
It's
weird.
Maybe.
funky. But I can get a
But
quote.
he
Let me
asked-
get a cost on it. I'll get a cost.
Yeah, he just asked, and I said, you know what? Next time I see Shannon, I'll ask her. I
Okay.
said, I know the wallpaper's coming down, so he's excited about that. I
Mhm.
said, I didn't know about the flooring.
Yeah,
But I know what you're saying. It's like the buffer
That'd be a little
walls
bit.
for the
I think it a
parts.
little bit difficult to do personally,
Yeah.
but
I can ask
you
if
could do
it can
anything.
be done, right?
Right. Please.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay, right.
Okay. Going down to the next page. I don't have anything else in right there, I don't think. No. The fencing around the parking lot for the sheriff's department, the architect's fee to draw it up, because I have to have a print of it, is $10,000. I know.
I missed my calling. I should have been an architect.
Amen.
You know what I think? I think because we have so many projects, there's so many, we have so much architects that it's just ridiculous.
It
But
just seems like, I mean, I get it, but it's
Do we
just
have to
different.
have that, or the fencing? The
It
fencing
just-
company typically would do that.
I can't have a fencing company draw it though.
Why?
The specs. Which fencing company? I can't just pick one to draw the specs.
Is it going to be how much is it going to be about?
It's about $77,000 for the fence. That's why I have to bid it.
Has to go out to bid and it has to be even when we send it out to bid.
Yeah, I can't just pick
Yep.
a fencing company and go, could you draw this up for me?
Government spending at its best.
So, is that okay? Should I move forward with that?
Please.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, okay, right before I came up here, I got an email from R2K for the sinkhole at the Sally Port. So he said that the slab heaved up, and the rebar has,
Ooh.
the rebar is not connected, for lack of better words, to the concrete anymore in those areas. What he thinks what happened is, I said, well, what do you think happened? He said they poured the first, you pour the first step is to pour one layer of concrete, then you put in the rebar or whatever you're going to put in there, the metal gating, for lack of better words. He thinks it dried. It was too dry before they added the second layer, causing it to not adhere together. So he came up with an idea where the vehicles are, where they are constantly having traffic going in and out. He's going to cut all the way through, and then reinforce it with new rebar. But where you're walking on the sides, when you walk, where the officers walk wherever they just walk, or the inmates. He's going to take off the first layer and reinforce all of that area with rebar. He's going to have to keep cutting a little bit though, because it hasn't stopped by the 14-foot by 14-foot area. It's still
expanding.
continuing.
I haven't been back in the Sallyport. How big is the Sallyport?
It's a pretty big area. You've got two huge doors that go in there, so it's big. They're using the one side right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like we really have an option.
I don't have an option, and
No
I did
choice.
ask Chris Majuri, what if we go over, and he said this is considered an emergency, so if we do go over the bid amount, 50,000, you can go up to 100, but I don't think it's going to get that way unless he runs into something really funky, but
Is that giving any frown to the structure?
he stated no. He said this is just the flooring, so,
Mhm.
because I was a little bit worried about that too, so.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And then the columns are to be installed next week
Okay.
for the front. And then, ooh, I have good news at the bottom.
Yeah,
Nice.
I
The
see
bids,
that.
see there? The bids came in a little bit less than what we thought. That's exciting. So,
Yes.
Kind of.
so it was like 200,000. Come on. I was excited. But we'll still keep that in there in case there's any other issues that come up. But
We'll take it.
that's all I have right now.
Good. Cool. Nice job
Okay.
getting stuff done.
And then we talked about the maintenance truck, so Jackie will get back with us, let us know on
Can I
that.
drive it?
Good.
Sure.
I like to.
County employee.
Check his license.
And then Shannon,
I will.
there doesn't look like anything on your resolutions that, do you need to
Nope.
comment on before we
Mm-mm.
start? Okay.
Nothing.
I have number 3. I just have a question.
Job and family
Workforce
services.
innovation for
Mhm.
that. What does that mean?
I'm not, that's John's
That's the
Family
WIOA.
Services, yeah.
It's the WIOA funds. It's a sub-grant. It's a sub-grant because it comes to the NOCCOG
Mhm.
board. They're the sub-grant recipients. If you looked at the resolution,
Yeah.
it sort of breaks it down. And then they disperse it to the 3 counties, which make up NOCCOG, which is us, Ashtabula, and Jaga.
Jaga, okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, thank you,
Cool, thank
Sabrina.
you.
All right. I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an amendment, number 1, for child and adult emergency reporting services, CARES, between the Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Portage County Job and Family Services and Coleman Professional Services, Inc.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an amendment, number 2, between the Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Portage County Jobs and Family Services and Emerald Transportation to provide transportation services.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into a Workforce Innovation Fund sub-grant agreement with Jobs and Family Services, Northeast Ohio Consortium Council of Governments, and Portage Development Board.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners approves the amendment to the Professional Services Agreement with Domestic Relations Court and Dixie Benshoff, Ph.D.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners authorize execution of an agreement with the Portage County Combined General Health District for the purpose of cooperation and coordination as it relates to the execution of responsibilities of the Portage County Stormwater District.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners approves the specifications and sets the bid date for the Portage County Justice Center dispatch renovation.
Again, second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes. You're doing really well over there. Just keep it up.
You guys are doing a good job. Keep up with all the hard work.
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners agrees to amend Resolution 23-0065 adopted January 26, 2023, approving plans, specifications, and set the bid date for the HVAC equipment replacement at the Riddle Block Building.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes,
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
thank you,
very
Shannon.
much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Shannon.
Shannon.
Thanks.
Hey, Mike, could you open the window?
I did.
Open the window. Yeah, like,
Watch our clock.
Yeah.
hey, Michelle. Michelle, would you grab the clock?
Sure.
Okay, that's good.
Sure, perfect. Yeah, I'm sweating my butt off. Good morning, Miss Hope.
Hi.
I hope.
Okay, what we've all been waiting for,
Yes.
the ARPA updates.
Okay, so
Yes.
I have 2 options for you guys. So we've discussed going through and applying, but another route is having the Akron Canton Regional Food Bank act as a pass-through agency. So I have a list of the food programs in Portage County that the food bank has already given food to this year. Summit County and I believe Stark County have also done this, so it's not the first time that the agency's done this with county's ARPA money. Basically, we can have a sub-grant agreement with the food bank, and they would take that money, purchase food, and then distribute it to those food programs in the county. It would only be going to Portage County. They'll be able to trace everything. They'll be able to report back to us, and that would be able to get people help quicker.
What is the cost of them doing that for us?
So you guys can decide on what you think is appropriate, but they will take a 10% administrative fee.
I don't know about that, because we're already paying how much for the consultant?
We wouldn't have to have the consultant. would
No,
we?
we wouldn't
We
have
wouldn't
to have
have
the
to?
consultant.
As-
I mean, we've already worked with the consultant a little bit. I haven't received an invoice for them yet for their services so far. We've emailed back and forth a little bit. We've had one meeting. We're supposed to have a meeting with them tomorrow to get more information for the food bank option. and they have put together an application for us. But if you guys are looking to get food to Portage County quicker,
Faster.
and this option also takes the administrative burden off of the food programs. So, you know, if there's a smaller food program, this might be the first time that they're receiving funds like this. They might not know exactly what to do, or, you know, the food bank has experience with this. And, you know, some of the smaller food programs, they might not have the money to spend up front because
Yeah, because that was one of the
Yeah.
things that concerned me is it's reimbursable, but and we need to try to get it out there. Now we have a whole audience, Tony, just so you know, and Mike, from the food pantries locally. And do you guys receive? I'm just going to ask them. Do you guys receive food from the food banks now?
Not all of the pantries and hot meal sites do.
Please, could you?
Not all of the food pantries and hot meal sites do. They've been going to other local groceries and Aldi's and GFS.
We're not
Marks.
100% sponsored by Akron Canton Food Bank. We are partially funded, partially helped by that. Is that correct? So we spend money in local retail establishments to stock our pantry, but it is supported by Akron Canton Food Bank as well. The prices at Akron Canton Food Bank have gone up, and not everything's still available at Akron Canton Food Bank. So we've seen a sharp increase not only in grocery prices in retail, but also from Akron Canton Food Bank. For 2 years, we got food for free. We are not getting that anymore. So it's becoming more difficult to run a pantry based on the amount of money that we have to spend.
Mr. Flowers still the CEO of there?
Yes.
He makes a very hefty salary.
So are you saying that if you got the money, you could better serve yourself
And
with the
have-
money versus going through this
And
go-between?
have more buying power and support local.
Locally?
Locally.
Absolutely.
And the loss of 10%'s gonna,
I mean, that's a lot of
That's a lot of
money.
money.
$100,000.
Where are we
Well,
thinking?
It depends on how much, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
May I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
Couple questions.
Go ahead.
So, just so I have a better understanding, if you were to give money to the Akron Canton Food Bank, would they then in turn give food for free to the local establishments, which there are quite a few?
yes.
Which Catholic Charities is on here?
I wouldn't say free. We're giving them almost $1 million.
I mean, free to those that are.
They're going to be giving away.
Nothing in life is free.
So they're
right?
going to be
But-
given $999,000, right? To they're going to take $100,000
Whatever
off.
amount the commissioners wish to give to
Right.
the food bank, right, they would take 10%.
So-
But what I'm asking is, would any local on this list that would go to this food pantry, would they in turn not have to pay for the food that they would take?
Correct. So
Until
we're
till the million's gone.
we're giving the food pantry money to purchase the food and then distribute it to the food programs.
And from what I'm gathering, what the folks behind you are saying is we could get more for our dollars if we gave them the money.
and kept
that-
it local.
is that correct?
Is that correct? Because that's my concern. I mean, I'm sorry. I hate to call Mr. Flowers out, but I'm going to. I mean, I saw how much this guy makes, and it's disturbing to me how much he makes. And I hear stuff like this because I've also heard other people complain about the food bank lately, and I'm not about to give them $100,000 and take away from the people of Portage County. Our whole goal is to get as much money and food to these pantries to serve as many.
If you don't mind, my comment was not a criticism of the food bank. The situation.
It's just the cost is going.
It's
Yeah.
the cost of
Yeah.
what they do. And they provide wonderful services for the
Mhm.
people of Portage
Yeah.
County.
Yeah.
They do a fantastic job, and what we get from them is more than we would ever be able to do on our own, because we enter into this agreement. They do tremendous work for the people of all of
But
the
aren't you
counties
stuck
surrounding.
with what they give you? I mean, if there's a need for, let's say, peanut butter, but they don't have it in your pantries, you're not going to get that. Is that correct? Whereas now, you guys probably have relationships with Walmarts and other people. You may not get it at the wholesale price that maybe the overall food bank, just because of the amount that they purchase and their buying power, but you would still be able to serve what you need. I mean, I don't know. David, what do
Yeah,
you?
you would still give, but even if you gave the money to each organization, you would still give that organization the ability to go to the food bank for certain things,
Correct.
okay? And then if they can beat the price. If they don't, but like Rick said, the food bank has not been stocking everything like they used to, okay? And it's been
Yeah.
problematic for some organizations, I know that. And this is not without precedent. You guys did this 3 years ago, okay? And I don't know what the experiences were with that. I've heard good and bad, okay?
No, I can speak to that issue. You're gonna give them money and they're gonna sell us back the food.
Yeah.
Don't be mistaken about it.
So they're going to sell this back. You're
one
not
he
going to
did.
actually pay for it.
No.
So if we
Did you
have
just hear what he said? You have to buy the food.
no
from the
no
food
no
bank.
no wait a second, back up. I give you $1 million, and I want that $1 million spent in Portage County to these folks. So they're not going to pay anything till the $1 million is gone.
That's how it's supposed to.
And that's the way it's supposed to. It's supposed to be
That's the way
a
it's
little
supposed to
ticket
work.
parade. I spent $100,000. They took it off the top.
You gave them CARES money, a couple.
Where
years ago,
CARES is,
But you gave them $250,000 for
Yeah.
the same concept, right?
yeah.
Did we ever go to the food bank and get anything? Did we get
Very
everything
minimally.
for free?
Yeah.
It was
Minimum.
free for that year, but they didn't have everything that was
Okay.
needed.
Right.
And the local pantries and hot meal sites, they wanna be able to get the food
Food
for
to
their
make whatever they're gonna
community,
do.
the needs of their community. So you
Right.
have somebody else going and buying that food, thinking they know what the community needs, you're not having that personalized.
Okay.
This is, we have this many families that might need a dietary this, or things like that, so.
Well, it was interesting because you mentioned about Summit County's article. I was with Eileen Shapiro last week and they just gave $4 billion for food. I mean, so
Right.
you guys are going in the right direction.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
say
Yeah.
this is a smart move to make by the part of the commissioners,
So-
obviously.
So how,
They're not using,
Good.
it's not the food bank they gave the money to.
Yeah.
They gave it to the
Yeah.
organization.
So
Exactly.
we have to keep track of every penny of this, and we've talked that some of the organizations may not be able to do the accounting that we actually need for the federal government. You have a very perplexed look on your face, and I'll give you a chance. So if we go with a consultant or that accounting firm, how much about are they going to cost us to watch this?
I have a question before I answer that.
Please.
When you gave money to the food bank with CARES, did you have a sub-grant agreement?
It
or
wasn't
a-
the same.
Okay.
We didn't have to. The accountability was not the same.
Okay.
Here's the money, go ahead and do what you want with it.
Okay.
This is, here's the money, you better keep track of it.
Well, there was
Yeah.
accountability. It's just it was not as stringent as what we have now.
So if we choose to go with the food bank, we will have a legally binding agreement
Yeah.
saying that they need to put it back into the county, and that because we have the federal reporting that we need to have, it is very meticulous, and we will be able to follow where every penny is going.
I know, but again, getting back to our original purpose, it is to get food, as much food and stuff to our pantries that they need. And we said we would not spend. That's why we looked at the consultants. We would not spend up to more than what, 50,000.
That's the question.
And that's the thing. I don't want it to become, well, it's more convenient to do there, and then our people don't get the food they need. I mean, we went the route of the consultant for a reason, and that was we could get to the most people in pantries in our county, and that is part of their due diligence and our agreement is they are to help track us to make sure we are compliant. And I'm seeing that at no more than 50,000, but yet we're recommending to consider going to the food pantry or the food bank. That's going to cost us 100,000. It doesn't make sense to me. And then I'm hearing from the folks that are actually in the weeds and in the field saying it's not necessarily what it appears to be. And I don't like that. I want to stick with the original plan.
You guys work too hard, and you need what you need. And
Yeah,
far be it from me to sit up here and say, you don't need that.
yeah.
No, you guys work too hard for that.
Yeah, and also the other thing you're doing is by investing in these organizations, they're buying locally,
Mm-hmm.
which is then helping the
Well,
local economy and people
exactly.
that work at Walmart and Dollar General and, you know, all these other places. So, and that's a kind of a spillover effect that people don't notice all the
It's a
time.
big
but
spillover.
It does help.
It's huge for
Helping
us
the
right
private
now, though.
businesses,
Yeah.
you know,
Does
so we
help.
go buy private locally instead of buying it from,
Right.
you know.
And a lot of those businesses donate to you guys for free, and
Yes.
so their hope that, you know, they get something in return, even if it's at marginal pricing,
By
they at
buying from
least,
local businesses, they might even donate more.
yeah.
So there are 80 all. Are there any other groups besides the 8 that are in this room right now? That we're talking about? Of people that give food to other people. So there are 8 organizations in this room, right? Are there any other?
Here, honey, there's
Okay.
a whole list.
No. Okay.
Sabrina, are we allowed to see
Yeah,
that
can I
list?
see the
that we
list?
have?
Yeah.
And in particular, there's a small group on here that, you know, I don't want to really give a shout out necessarily, but there's a small group. They may have a difficult time meeting the compliance, but,
Yes.
you know, we'll try and work with the consultants to assist them as best they can.
And I'm sure
This
you
was just
guys
an
work,
idea.
but here's the
I
other
like
thing,
it.
these folks
Yeah.
work
you're fine.
together.
We
If-
need options.
If the Center of Hope it has an abundance of something and some little small pantry and it's about to expire, I'm sure Marquise and LaJoyce and them would reach out to a pantry and say, hey guys, I got an abundance of this, I can't get rid of it, do you guys want it? Am I inaccurate in saying that you guys don't work together and share resources? I mean,
So Sabrina, Bill Childers United Way, thank you very much. You know, we have in Portage County a program, so United Way Emergency Food and Shelter Program sends money to Portage County once a year, most of the time, unless there's a pandemic, and then there was more money. But and those dollars for the food part of our program go through an organization called Change Hunger, which is a separate 501c3 not-for-profit organization that has pantries located in nearly every part of Portage County. I think there are 13 or 14 organizations that are in that group. And those pantries then are distributing food. You know, almost every township has an organization that's part of Change Hunger, and in every city and every village. And that's how our emergency food and shelter program dollars get awarded throughout annually through that process.
Excuse me for 1 second, I'm so sorry. We need to be able to hear or to record what you're saying, so can we have that either come up to the chair?
Which
or
microphone
over?
works?
Is that
Yeah,
okay?
just if you could, can you pull it?
I'm sorry to interrupt
No,
you.
that's
I mean,
fine,
But
that's
it's
fine.
valuable
That's as
information
far
you're
as it'll
providing,
go.
so.
So,
we need to be able to get that.
okay, so Bill Childers United Way, Portage County, United Way's Emergency Food and Shelter Program funds annually dollars into Portage County that typically get distributed then by our local board. It's a local decision-making process. Those dollars are awarded through the United Way Emergency Food and Shelter Program based on a formula that is run through FEMA and through the federal government. And those dollars come to us. We as a local board seek applications. And what happened is rather than have every small pantry apply for those funds, we created an organization in 1980 that handles those funds called Change Hunger, and that those pantries came together, they cooperate, they work together to distribute food throughout Portage County. In just about every township, every village, every city has a connection to a Change Hunger pantry, so that those organizations, so that the folks throughout Portage County get access to those resources. And as a result, that Change Hunger then is able to do some other things through funding and through programming to make sure that people have access to resources and access to dollars that can help alleviate food, housing, and utility costs for people who need service. So And so Change Hunger could be the entity that could.
Be the
you know,
sub-grant
that-
recipient.
That could do that.
So that goes to
Potentially.
what you just described. I get. Is that what everybody in this room, everybody's thinking about? Have a one parent organization, whether it be United Way or somebody else, or everybody has the ability to do it on their own?
My suspicion is, I mean, Change Hunger has been around for 40-odd years, represents every corner of this county with pantries.
But would everyone on this list,
Yeah,
though?
no, I was just gonna get to that.
Yeah.
Not everybody, because, so we'd have to think through that. However, Change Hunger is no rookies. I mean, they administer FEMA dollars every year.
Yeah, I got
You know,
that
so
part,
we got-
but I'm looking at the faces in front of me and saying, do they want to utilize that program that United Way has, or would they like it some other way to be, that
Well,
they're.
all I'm saying is
Well, let's-
there might be a way for that. I don't know that these guys, you do all of the bookkeeping for this. I mean, we don't ever get cited by FEMA. They audit us I'm working out for your end, which is you gotta be clear about what you're doing. You can't screw this up, right?
Correct.
Well,
You
let
can't.
me get to the most important part, because I'm always about financials. What would that cost us, the administration fee for United Way to do?
Well, it'll be for Change Hunger. I mean, Change Hunger.
Or Change
would be
Hunger.
the agent to do that.
I get that.
so
but
the dollar
I wanna
minus-
know,
Yeah.
what is the administration fee for that?
Well, what do you charge? What do-
Well,
what-
well,
what- two-
well, what-
what-
well,
2%?
well,
1%?
2%.
It's what
So-
we get from EFSP.
So EFSP gives 2%,
Okay.
2%, 2%.
So what was that you just said?
It's 2% that we
2%.
get
Okay.
from the.
For the
national
admin
board
fee.
For administrative.
Administrative fee
costs
for that?
To disperse the funding and keep receipts and
And which organization do you do that with?
Family and Community
Services,
Services
okay.
is the fiscal conduit for
Okay.
Change Hunger.
And-
I've been doing it since 2001.
And I'll just say, that's way too low to actually do the work and employ people and that sort of thing. But that's, but that's the emergency food and shelter requirement is 2%. You don't get more than 2% for the administrative cost. And Community Action Council does the other part for the utilities at 2%. But, I mean, you can't do what you need to report back at 2%, but I don't know that it needs to be $100,000 either, 10%, of what you're doing.
I have something
Please.
to add. So I think it's an excellent idea if you guys want to focus on a pass-through that's in Portage County and who could handle distributing to the entire county. But if they're receiving federal funds from another source, that is a concern, and we would need to get a legal opinion, because with ARPA, I've said this a few times before, they can't
We can't combine.
receive. Yeah, you can't do that. So we would need to get more information from them about where those federal funds are coming from, and then get a legal opinion before we can proceed with that.
Yeah, it's easy to
That's
do,
easy.
so not to
Yeah.
not duplicate.
Yeah, also what you need to know too, EFSP funds this year for food in Portage County is about $27,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
Mhm.
a humongous amount of money.
And Hope just brings up, I mean, we've tried to give it to somebody, but if I gave you $50,000, ARPA says, nope,
Yeah.
for the same project, we can't do it.
I think that there's a bunch of options, ways around that. I mean, if Change Hunger knows that there could be $1 million out there for food for the next 4 years, basically, or 3 years, that gives you options with EFSP where they're not gonna use the money for food.
Yeah, we could put it towards rent or utilities.
That was the
That
next
way they're
question.
not getting federal dollars.
So you guys are all in agreement with the way we're talking now?
Well, you should introduce yourself.
We've met, but I just, I know you're a different organization because you got a uniform on.
He says Salvation
Major-
Army.
I'm pretty clever.
Major Paul Knickerbocker from Salvation Army. My wife and I are new to this community, just coming in November.
Yeah.
But my understanding is that we're in a system that works well, going through the way that it's been described. I don't
Okay.
need to describe that again. I will tell you that just last week, through combined efforts, we were able to distribute 2 truckloads full of food, over 42,000 pounds, in using going through the program and through the other things in Kent and as well. in,
Wyndham.
Kent and Wyndham.
Awesome.
And that's for the whole county. People come from all over the county. And it's a huge process, and we're never without some kind of need. Let's put it that way. There's always, and I think that it's, like I said, it's a system that works. And if it is, if there's funding available, and it can come to the county, I mean, I was astonished when I came and found out that that this county, Portage County, covers over 500 square miles.
Yes, it is.
And I was
It's
like,
big.
how do we reach everybody? But the only way to do it is
It's through a group? Okay.
is through combined effort, like what we're talking about. So-
And that's my concern is, we Hope gave us an option with Summit County. We were talking about an accounting, and then this is, and I just want to see everybody head go that way if we're going to do that. I believe, and I think Tinlin and Sabrina is saying the same thing. We want to know what you think is good, not what we think is good.
Well, if I do my math right, even say we owed $25,000, just roughly to what we've already accumulated with the attorney, that would leave us $975,000. And say we give 3% versus 2% for the administration, that would still leave $945,000, almost break even to what we agreed up to.
Yeah.
And then we'd keep it in the county if we can do it and get our opinion back.
Yep.
What would be the what's the issue? I guess the issue of going through change hunger as opposed to giving it to the food bank. What's the diff? Because it's kind of like our own little local food bank. It's 501c3. It's been in business 40 years.
Accountability. Summit County is saying they may have what I understood she said is a better accountability for the monies that we have to be able to do it. And Bill is saying that nope, our quality of taking care of federal dollars is just as good as anybody else.
Well, our FEMA audits for the last 40 years.
Yeah, so that's
So
that's
that's
the
federal
question.
money. So I don't think it's going to be an issue, but then again, we want to make sure.
I was glad that they mentioned. I've been a part of the EFSP when it was FEMA and then turned over to EF since the very beginning, and I was glad that they mentioned, because I was going to say, if the issue is it going towards the same project,
We would hope.
EFSP money can be shifted then to help with other things, since we would have funding. For
And we're dealing with the federal government on how they set rules, and that's all we have to check.
But within EFSP, the local board has the ability to move that funding
And Bill,
to make
I'm
it
gonna
available
ask
for
you a
more rent or
question
more
once
utilities
Mr.
and that kind of
Hunter
thing, which is
comes.
also a big need.
Okay, great.
And so, Bill, according to you, you guys have 13, 14 pantries
Yeah.
that are through the Change of Hunger.
Yeah.
What about these other pantries that are not? Again,
Sure.
even if they're not necessarily compliant enough or set up enough to receive the funding, is there still any workarounds that you guys could help them as well? Because we want to get.
My assumption. Thank you, Sabrina. My assumption is that I would rather be able to help as many pantries as we can, and that we could work through Change Hunger. I'm assuming, to put something together so that people could apply through and set up a process through Change Hunger that would help award those funds and to help pantries. Because we did that during the heart of the COVID process when we were getting money that people said this is for COVID, and United Way awarded dollars to lots of organizations to help feed people, to help do things that we typically don't do because we have our partners who usually affect the largest part of the
and I get it,
population. But we were able to help a lot of organizations and pantries throughout Portage County to do lots of things that we typically weren't able to do.
Because that's what I want to hear. Because we have advertised this that we are trying to get to every pantry. We've sent out letters and stuff, and we don't want them to be disheartened no more than if we take it to Akron and cut out 100,000 because they're charging us 10%.
Yeah.
That could be feeding people here in Portage. We don't want to be getting
Yeah,
calls
yeah.
that they
Yeah.
thought that everyone was gonna be eligible, and now it's only your core
So
partners.
there's whatever list there is here.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I'm not on your list and I haven't done with United Way and done that, how difficult it is for me to say, hey, for my organization, I'd like to do food.
I mean, what you're talking about is an accounting process, not a distribution and accountability.
Accounting,
process,
but
you know?
I'm not on your list. I haven't dealt with United Way.
Yeah,
How difficult, if I've never dealt with United Way,
yeah.
or any of these other,
Change
this
Hunger,
list,
yeah.
that
Change Hunger,
Mark's looking at that
Yeah,
list,
yeah.
how hard is it for me, if I have a church and I'm a pastor at a church,
My Tony, thank you. My assumption is it would be, they would apply. You know, there would be,
What
we'd
does that
set up a
mean?
process
Yeah.
of, okay, we're, you know, what are you doing? Who are you serving? What, you know, what's the need? You know, and then how do we make sure that
It truly is being met.
yeah.
But how do you measure the outcomes to make
yeah,
sure that
yeah,
they're, Mark,
yeah.
do you want me to hold that over here so you
Yeah.
can see it?
But,
No, my arms are.
but and I'm thinking that what we could do, we would set up a process to do that. I mean, it's not that hard to do a process to ensure that we get resources that are coming into our county that we know people need, to get them out to folks, and then have those organizations be sure that they can accommodate whatever accountability requirements are set up in the
ARPA guidelines,
the
the final
guidelines.
rulings.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
so once,
I'm sorry.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, if you look carefully at the list, you've got a number of organizations. I mean, you got Salvation Army listed 4 or 5
5 times.
I
Yeah.
mean, you got us in there 3 or 4 times.
Mhm.
The list isn't as extensive
as
as.
it is.
I mean, you got Coleman, you got
Yeah,
Family
got people
Services,
who
you
are
got
already-
Salvation Army.
Yeah.
Most of the
Yeah.
people on this list are already in Change Hunger.
Excellent.
There's just a handful,
Okay.
Yeah.
you know.
It'd be the smaller
Ben Curtis
and-
and Birdie
and-
Bags.
and
I mean,
I-
we can work with Ben, you
Yeah.
know, if that's, you know, or
And-
the Raven Packs.
Right,
It's-
right.
These aren't,
Yeah.
this isn't insurmountable stuff.
I mean, and yeah, like United Way funds Raven Packs. We fund the Ben Curtis Family
Yeah, I mean, we're
Foundation
looking
through our
closely.
COVID dollars. I mean, we've done things through our Giving Well Family Foundation that's helped fund a number of organizations that are on those lists. And I will say that our local EFSP board that awards the funds to Change Hunger does include, Ryan Shackelford is a member of
Yes,
that.
yes.
Kelly Jo Jeffries is a member of that, you know, representing the county. Is there any other county staff that's typically on?
Okay.
Cross.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dave, sir, would you like to, you were trying to interrupt.
Bill, are you
there.
saying you want the FSP board to help administer these funds?
Well, if there needs to be an entity to do
That could
that.
help oversee it? you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
My question is, I've dealt with a lot of treasury money over the last 3 years because of our rent relief programs.
Yeah.
There are strings out the wazoo.
Yeah.
There are requirements, there are compliance issues, there are reporting issues. I don't want to see you guys make a decision and then the burden of all this reporting falls on Change Hunger.
Yeah.
Okay, and makes it crazy, because then that detracts from what they're really trying to do. So I think that's a good solution, but we gotta figure out what the requirements are. Because
I mean, you're feeding people, so you better have a receipt for the food you bought, and you better have a
There's-
name and a date, and who
there's
you gave
typical-
it to. I mean,
I know.
I'm not sure
It's gonna be
what
worse
else it
than
could
It's
possibly.
gonna be worse than the EFSP
But
board's
it's
requirements.
typically gonna be more than that, unfortunately.
So
just gotta make sure you know what you're doing.
contact that we could reach out to, and then we could work with our consultants to see if this is feasible.
Yeah, because I think that's the
And you can
first
reach-
step
you can
is
try
we
to
need
reach out
to
to
make
Dave
sure
Joyce.
before we create a lot of work and stuff, we just need to see if this is even feasible to even entertain. And if it's not, then we'll have to come back, but.
When I was speaking with the consultants, they also suggested that the Akron Canton Food Bank would be able to go to, like, the schools. Since the SNAP program ended, they're not getting as much assistance with their lunch programs. Is that something that you guys have the capacity to do?
Well, so, you know, free and reduced lunch in Portage County, prior to the pandemic, was like 43% of the kids in public schools qualify for that. It's probably more now, but we really don't have those numbers. But and then when, in the pandemic, everybody qualified, so there wasn't an issue. And then in June, that got cut so that you have to apply again. So we're just now getting that sort of data will probably be in 6 months. So I don't know exactly where we are with, like, oh, can we help with that? Well, sure, if you've got the money, and you've got the resources, but I don't know that's in my opinion, that would be a whole nother conversation about how you would address that. But right now, the schools are working through that process.
Well, once again, my question continues to be with regard to the food bank. They don't have ARPA funds yet. Well, Summit County is giving them, not there, so I'm not sure what he was referring to, but they would have to, Change Hunger or Food Bank are gonna have to, as the recipient of these, sub-recipient of these funds, are gonna have to adhere to every ARPA guideline. And I don't know, as I'm thinking through what you're saying, how the hell are they gonna do it any better? I mean, what are they gonna, I mean, there's gotta be.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying we just need to be aware of it.
Oh, sure.
And figure out a mechanism so that we can provide
So
support.
before we go any further, I Hope's going to do some research
Yeah.
for us, because I mean that's what you're saying sounds like a good idea, and I'm seeing almost the head. It's kind of the heads are wobbling; they're not going up and down yet. But to try to be able to find out legally what we have to do, and can we actually do this, and then go from there. Because right now there's too many questions, and I'm seeing wobbles, not nods.
I think going with the local organization.
I like that
that's
idea.
gonna buy locally.
Right.
Is the smartest thing you guys could do.
And that's
We
exactly.
just gotta make sure
Yeah.
that they're equipped
We
to
can
do
get over
it.
the hurdle
And
of
one organization isn't burdened with all of the responsibility, and that's the challenge, or if they're burdened with the responsibility of all the reporting that they're taken care of, so they can do that. That's the biggest challenge. Buying food is not a problem.
Are you talking about the
Distributing
fees that would? Yeah.
The 3%.
So we would go to.
more.
I think you might have to jack up the 3%.
Right.
Maybe 5%?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say, as the one that's gonna do the work, I'm here to tell you, I need to know what it is you're gonna want us to do, right? I mean, what is ARPA gonna require?
So and that's what
why
we're
we need the contact
we're gonna.
grid, please,
yeah.
to have a contact that we
Yep.
can reach out
A
to.
business card? You know what, for the sake of time, we
Yes.
we
Yep.
have an attorney waiting for us, so
Yep.
we have to wrap this up. So Hope, do you have Bill's contact information?
Bill
if you
and
need
somebody
anything?
else's. Who else?
Okay,
Okay.
so
Please,
just
go
to
ahead.
recap,
Yes.
instead of going with the food bank and instead of going with sending out applications to individual organizations, I will get a legal opinion from Berker and Eckler, and I will also speak with our accounting consultants and see if this is plausible to go with Change for Hunger. Okay, and then if that is not an option, I know it's strongly favored, but if that's not an option, we can consider either going with the food bank or going with applications.
The way we planned on doing
Yes.
it. Yes, but we have to get some more
I-
information
okay.
before
we
we
need
can
to get more information
go
because
forward.
I'm not
Okay.
in favor
Okay.
of giving the
Yeah.
food bank
Okay.
10%.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
take the food bank
Yeah, the food
off the
off the-
table.
yeah.
We're
Okay.
not going to Summit County, we're not giving Dan Flowers a bonus.
Got it. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.
My one other point was just.
Yes, sir, Major.
Thinking, I don't know, I didn't hear what was said beforehand, but going with one central organization that covers all the others
Yeah,
helps,
you know what?
helps as well, making sure the duplication is not an issue.
Just so you get
Absolutely.
contact information.
We just, yeah, we'll make
We
sure.
work together to make sure we don't duplicate.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Major.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming today.
thank
It was
you.
very helpful.
Well, and thank you for the decision you made initially, because I think it was the right call. Food is gonna be an issue here,
Yep.
right now. It's
I
March,
just wanna
we're
thank
in
you
it, we're in
guys.
it.
I just wanna thank you guys because giving $1 million for food for the needy people in our county is unprecedented in this county. So thank you.
That's our
Thank
job.
you guys
Good
for
job.
what
Thank
did,
you.
all of you.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, we appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave.
What is your name again?
Jen Matlin.
Jen, are you okay with this?
I
Oh,
can reach
I need
out.
more
How about if I email you?
Yes.
and you email her?
My boss.
And that,
How's that? Okay.
and that I need more. We
And
need
we'll
more
get
information too.
Then we have to look at that
the
fee.
food, like, I'm just really excited about, the food needs are so detrimental right now, so.
Great, and I'll give you my card as well,
Yeah.
and we are happy to work with you.
And you had one of the wobbleheads. I didn't see. I did not see
Well,
happiness.
because
I keep track
it'll
of all
fall.
everything.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Chris, good morning. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right now. I'll make a motion to amend resolution 23-0124 adopted February 23rd, 2023, authorized grant applications in the amount of $53,064 to the Office of the Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost, State of Ohio Law Enforcement Body Armor Grant Program on behalf of the Portage County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes. County Administrator. Good morning.
Okay, now let me get reorganized, that's all right, hold on. So, I would like for each of you, please, as a reminder, this is our technology update, because the system we have is not exactly stellar, right? And as you can tell, Sam has to come up and help us out regularly. So Sam will actually be taking the project over
Okay.
and get us
Yes.
up to par so that we have a quality streaming system. And that was
And at a very good price.
absolutely, absolutely.
That was crazy.
I was like,
Yeah.
We have a lot of people on the IT staff
That-
that can actually do great work.
That have talent.
yeah.
Not to exceed $8,000, and we are still working with our prosecutor's office to work out some type of agreement to kind
Agreement.
of get some money back on the current
Yep.
program.
Yeah, and you know, I read the review for today, and I was like devastated. I couldn't believe the amount of money it would cost us to have our internal do it versus outside. What a difference. And someone that's here all the time, that if there was a malfunction, we don't have to wait for someone to show
BSI
up.
kind of didn't do us right.
So you know what? I will make a motion that the Board of Commissioners agrees to move forward with the updating the current streaming system in the Commissioners Boardroom with a total amount not to exceed $8,000. Information technology staff will perform installation and configuration of the system in-house.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Can you please pass that to Amy so she has a copy of your
Oh, yeah.
yours and we can-
You want
Here
mine?
you go, Amy.
Please.
Okay, in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G3, the Board of Commissioners moves to enter into an executive session to conference with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are subject of pending court action.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll get everything. Just take a second here, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, there's no time better than now than to upgrade, right? Get everything perfect.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I'll make a motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Is there action?
No
No
action.
action.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thank you. If I say no, can we just say it?
No. No, because Tony would say yes, and we got to move it.
And are we sending, a Zoom invite, or am I just calling her on the phone, or what are
Yeah,
we doing now?
if you could text her, because she's standing by.
Okay.
And then I'll have Sam.
Whoever's going to speak for the Board of Elections gets the front two.
For 2 seats, yep. Everyone else can have a seat there.
Morning,
Hi,
morning,
Sabrina.
morning, morning.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
Excuse the construction.
No, it smells good. I love the smell of it.
Ah, me too.
Good morning.
Hi, Miss Amanda.
Is somebody zooming in
How are you?
for this, or you're talking about the other one we have to do? Is it that one that we're talking about?
We didn't do that.
Okay.
Good morning, Commissioner.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
What? I didn't even see you.
It's okay, it's not good. It's all good.
I'm sorry.
Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Good. Oh, that's cool. So who's sitting up front with you?
Amanda.
Amanda, okay.
Morning, Miss Amanda.
Or they've stuck me here alone, which is fine. but I-
That's usually what they do.
That's usually what they, yeah. That's okay.
This is old hat for you.
Yeah, well,
All right.
Hi, Miss Daniels.
Hello there, Mr. Taylor. Hello, Mr. Chris Bennett. Hello, sir.
Come on.
You're not going to say the last name? Jeez. There you go.
Okay.
I'd be crushed if you couldn't say that.
No, I know how to say it.
Amy, are we ready, or
Yeah, I'm trying to get a.
We're getting the Zoom
Yeah,
connected.
hold on just a second.
is there someone
Who's zooming in?
Yes.
Who?
Someone from Corsa?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
oh, yeah.
okay.
Join you.
There we go.
Are
you sure? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We
I
just
thought
asked her,
Michelle
somebody
was
just
coming.
asked her to do something.
Oh, there she is. Oh, I asked her to let's down now. Let's make it-
Yeah, yeah.
Panelists 10 days.
And that's you, right?
Good, yeah. Sam,
Come on.
tuck it for a second, Sam.
Sam, can she get through?
I'm sorry, pardon me.
Slip it in, Buttercup. Come over this way. You can get that screen, watch the screen.
So there should be.
Not today. We like that imprint on the screen.
I get a refund.
That's all right. We all do on occasion, but it's okay.
Never you mind.
Excuse me.
Okay.
It's pretty. It smells good. You just stay there.
Do you know if she's like logged in?
Promote the panelist, yep.
Huh, I'm not seeing her.
Morning, Claire. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good, good.
Can you hear us?
I was looking, I was really late.
Do I need to start
That's
over?
not what's who texted.
Did you?
Yeah, ask about all the water lines I ran for.
Oh, this is also
I didn't
right.
get the extra lighting, but I got the water lines.
Tony seems nice too, I don't.
I just need a couple minutes.
Sending video.
And so, Joe Brown.
I can. I'm always dark.
Oh, what you muted?
I do not.
So you got any other Cherokee?
You either?
No, not at all.
No.
I'm lucky if I get a, a little tinge here and there,
Yeah.
and it's usually red.
I'm tan.
Crispy.
Right. I have tan in a bottle.
There you go.
Tanning, right?
And there she
Oh,
is.
y'all
Is
know
she here?
nothing about no
There you
tan.
go.
Who Who is it that's going to be here?
Somebody told me
Katie.
I look like a.
Katie
casino
Lydia.
owner
Looks like she was
in
there.
Atlantic City.
Yeah.
No.
Is she there now?
She looks like a casino owner from Atlantic City. What's all about that? No.
All right.
The Costa Rica. I don't get it. It's an aura around it. Yeah, not a fuel director or a banker, but a casino. No.
But really, it could be worse. They make a lot of money.
It could.
There she is.
Ah, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Well, she was.
Hi.
Hi, Katie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I can't see any of you.
Can you see us now?
Oh, we can
No?
see you.
No,
Can you hear us? That's what's
I
more
can hear
important.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can
Yes,
hear you.
Yeah.
And we can see you.
I think that you have the host, he's got the video.
Can't wait till this is all repaired, Sam.
Is this a Teams thing?
Yeah, you said that it's the video's turned off.
Teams? Is that what
I
it
like
is? Teams?
precision.
It's Zoom.
Zoom.
I
Zoom.
haven't used it.
So what do you get there?
Hello.
I can't hear anything now. I'm not sure if you can still hear me or not.
We can
can
hear
hear
you,
you.
but you need to hear us.
But you can't hear us say that.
Okay, yeah. Sarah wants to jump in, I can feel it.
It's like, I'm going in.
She can always call in
Whole
too.
bar is missing. It's almost like the picture
and the audio picture and all that. It's all gone.
I'm gonna try to join again.
Okay.
If not, we can always have her call in. She can call in if we can't get it to work. And put her on her.
I can call her.
Well, we can call her on
Oh, okay.
the speaker so that everyone can hear. Thank you. I think we have her phone number too, don't we?
No, I don't have it.
Oh, that's
This
March
is, that's,
17th.
yeah.
Yeah, we can ask Katie. Call in for a number here.
Technology integrated.
When it works, it's fabulous.
Test 1, 2.
Oh, Denise. Michelle's asking you a question.
Lavinia's here in town. Her name's Teresa.
We got fancy pants.
Everybody's got their
What
own
did you ask
favorite
me?
nail post.
The,
About nails?
Yes.
You need a favorite.
Lavinia's here in town.
I need it on
I know about myself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Two more this week and today and tomorrow and then Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Monday, I am ready to be
I put it on Bath and Body Works.
done. Yes.
Why don't you just tell everybody?
I couldn't help it.
Appreciate you, Shannon.
There's a request to unmute on this screen.
Yeah, this camera.
I don't know what you said, but it's
Disconnected.
Put on Bath and Body Works lotion.
Camera disconnected.
Just gotta go. with
You
what
know
got
what?
available.
The host would like you to
Thank you.
speak, unmute. So is she need to unmute?
No, that would be us.
The host would like you to speak.
Okay, so he was ashy and that's what he wanted.
I'm impressed that you guys can read that.
No, you're not use the term ashy, it was just dry for him. He is not
Click
ashy,
on
he's
it.
just dry. You're okay, Dory, you don't need to give a lesson. I'm trying to be good. That's what I keep trying to say, I'm trying to be good.
All right, well, can you hear us now?
It's the one making us.
Now I can hear you, yes.
Okay.
Oh, excellent.
Don't touch anything.
You're okay.
Can you see us?
Nope, I can't see you.
As long as you can hear us, that's
Okay.
all that needs.
We're just gonna go with voice, okay?
Sorry, Sam.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Board of Elections, you're up.
Well, good morning, everyone. As you know, I'm Denise Smith. I'm Chair of the Board of Elections. And we're here this morning. As you know, our election equipment in our areas were subjected to a rather traumatic event, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day of last year, with the flooding and the bursting of the pipe and all of that. And thank you for everything you have done, Corsa and the commissioners and the staff, of everything that's been put back together for us so far, and we do appreciate that. We were originally going to come here this morning to ask you, and I'm going to throw this out, for about another $140,000, because our equipment, the DS200s, the express vote machines, they were subjected to some high humidity during that time for probably at least 24 hours before ServPro could get there, because it was a Christmas holiday and so forth. And we were going to insist that that equipment, because elections are under a microscope these days, be tested, that the motherboards within the equipment be tested to determine if there was any corrosion. Basically because corrosion will not dry out, it doesn't disappear, it feeds on itself, and obviously none of us want a failure come election time, whether it's this year, especially not, we just don't want that to happen. We all have a vested interest in those things working right. And the public perception, the public deserves that. However, we got an email this morning from ES&S. ES&S is the company we purchased the machines from. Those machines were purchased in 2015, first used in 2016. They have a useful life of 5 to 10 years, like all computer-like technology equipment. And ES&S tells us this morning, we thank them, although their email, I love their email, we probably should have told you this sooner, and that's probably true, that their recommended storage of those units is between 10 and 85% humidity. We didn't get anywhere near 85% humidity. So that's a good thing. So we have room to compromise. I mean, if I had a wish list, I would still ask for the $140,000 to take those machines. We had a company called Corsa who gave us an $83,000 estimate to take those. Coastal. I'm sorry.
Course is saying something different.
Sorry, Coastal. Too many hard C's. Coastal to come in. That's who was recommended by ES&S to come in, take the 3 layers of motherboards. In other words, disassemble the machines, look at those 3 layers of motherboards, determine if there was any corrosion, and go from there. And yes, if it were a perfect world, I would still ask for that $140,000. The other 40, besides the $83,000, that was for ES&S to be on site, since they're the vendors. They needed to be there to watch all of this happen and open and close those machines again to make sure they're going to work properly. With this new information, I know Corsa has offered Invista, which seems to be a company that finds experts in various fields, to come in and look at these machines. And I think we'd be more willing to say, once we talk to Invista and say, what are they actually going to do versus just turn them on, turn them off. We weren't quite sure. What they're going to do to have that conversation, we're probably a little more willing to say, okay, let's Invista with ES&S, again, to protect warranties and so forth. ES&S needs to be there, and that will be some cost factor for them to be there for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days to test all of the equipment. And we do want all of the equipment tested, not just what we're going to use in May. Again, I think it's important for the public to know that we've done our due diligence. So that's our position at this point, that I think it's a good idea to talk to Invista along with Corsa and Michelle, and say, what are you actually going to do? And if that's a cost Corsa is still willing to incur, then the only thing we're going to be asking you for is the extra money for ES&S to come on site and be there and monitor as Invista does its testing.
So there's a couple things. I just wanted you guys to know where the concerns were with the Board of Elections. As we're sitting there,
we know that elections are absolutely critical, and that the confidence of the public is a piece of that. And so we wanted to first make sure that we were confident that the machines were working the way that they were supposed to, so that when there was an election, there was never a question that something worked and didn't work. The pieces of information that we had prior to actually this morning was the fact that rust and corrosion happened at 45% humidity. And so when the carpets got wet, and then holding those carpets, even as they're drying them and trying to do that, they don't dry that room out that quickly. And so that period of time where there was higher humidity was really our biggest question and our biggest concern. Even after they were trying to pull out carpets and do things, it was several weeks before it was all dried and done and cleared and all of that. So when they came back and told us that the boards were actually sealed, I mean, what they say with this storage of 10 to 85% says that electronically those PC boards were built, and then they were sealed with something to allow that humidity between 45% and 85% to be there. So that gives us a little more of a level of confidence. The machines, their feet were in water, their wires were in water, they were plugged in water. So that is the reason why we want to make sure that not only do they power up, but it's sort of like your computer at home. It needs to power up, and then it needs to actually think and do things the way that they're supposed to do things. So that testing portion, to make sure that they test and work in the way that they need to, not just a up and back down kind of thing, is where we're looking for our confidence.
And then, as lawyers say, time is of the essence, because the UCOV ballots go out, March 17th. March 17th. Early voting begins April 4th, so we need something done as quickly as possible, so that, again, that level of confidence for not only the staff and for you, but the public is maintained.
I'm having a little bit of a struggle here. I saw the pictures. There were a couple of them. Their feet were less than 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 inch of water in a little bit of them. I don't know what wires, because nothing's plugged in, so I'm not sure what wires we're talking about with that. The other question is I have, so the report that I saw in the lobby where the leak was, where the pipe broke, was 58% humidity. You guys are saying 45. How do we get there? Because they didn't have access to you guys to be able to get in.
No, I'm not. 45 is an industry standard.
And that's standard. 45 to 85.
Standard.
But is
where rust happens or corrosion
correct.
happens.
Yeah.
45 is that line.
Correct. But we've one is I was told the information from Michelle that the Board of Elections said that it was 45% humidity in that room.
But someone on the board calculated the
No,
humidity?
we don't know what it was in that room
Right.
itself.
So, and that's what
I think Cerebro did some calculations of the walls.
right, and they were very minimal.
The Secretary of State mentioned that they were
That
45%, did you?
that we were told that.
I don't know where
Somebody told the Secretary of State that it was at 45%. So we're just I'm trying to figure out how that got there. The second thing that, actually my major thing that goes to this, that from what we're being told from y'all, that nobody is able to have a key to that area. If there's a problem, I agree with Commissioner Tidland, I would say break the glass and get in. So the question is I'd like to see it in writing from the Secretary of State that nobody may have a key to the Board of Elections in case of emergency to get in. I know security, and I know that is the top of it with elections, but this doesn't make any sense that the Board of Commissioners or our maintenance during a disaster can't gain access to someplace that now you're telling me that's how detrimental it is, but we couldn't get in there until the next day.
My understanding, first of all, it was Christmas Eve that you did get in there.
Correct.
Because Eve came.
Did they finally come in?
Yeah, Faith was able to respond, I don't know, about midnight, after getting stuck in a snowdrift. But it's my understanding that maintenance does have a key to those doors.
Who does?
No, we don't.
Maintenance, no, we don't. We did not have access to
On
it.
your double locks?
Not
on the main door, you have access to our main door. They're talking about all the other doors that you guys have to have double lock, you know, because you don't go in there.
There is a directive that indicates that we have to maintain the security of the rooms that have the swipes on them. It's not our choice.
So we
It's
could-
the Secretary of
Okay,
State's decision.
I could agree with that. We couldn't get in, you're saying, we couldn't get into those rooms, or we couldn't get into the Board of Elections?
We couldn't get into maintenance couldn't get into any of the rooms but the main area.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
I
We're in the
didn't
main.
think we could even get in the main area.
Just,
they could.
Just the
Okay.
main. You can't get into any of the doors.
Small rooms.
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
always been that way.
There have been instances where we've asked, please don't go in there before we're open,
Mm-hmm.
and there's staff there to get the garbage out or to empty the trash, and so forth. However, you're right, if there's emergency human life is at stake, if there were a fire, that would be a very different issue, and you're breaking the glass or using that key would need to be done. That wasn't the circumstance this
Okay.
day. And Faith was there probably 2
Terrific.
hours
Okay.
at most.
So then it goes back to the other thing. Half the room had no water from the pictures that I saw. The other half looked like less than an eighth of an inch, looked like more of a puddle. The Secretary of State gives us a 45%, and in where it happened was only at 58. Yes,
Okay, I was there the Christmas Day.
correct.
So on Christmas Day, and I spent part of my time actually picking things up off the floor as to what was wet, what wasn't wet. So when you walk in the first doors where the cubicles are, that was
Water.
There was water. There was sufficient water that I picked things up and they were dripping, and I was trying to identify what could and could not set on a desk. Terry's office, there was water. Faith's office, there was water.
We're talking carpet, quarter-inch water on top of the carpet, saturated
Right,
water.
and wicking up things.
Yeah,
So things that were on
when
the
you
floor,
go this way, I just want
yeah,
to clarify.
things that are on the floor and things that were wicking up.
Okay, cool.
So then when you walked into the main, that big room,
Mm-hmm.
so a portion of that big room had water in
Mm-hmm.
it, and enough water that all of the stockpile of paper that we had to pick up and put on tables and roll the tables. So over by the bank of windows, there was not water, but there was.
Right
When
by
we
the door
yeah.
coming in.
And then when we went into where the machines were, and in that section there was water. I was picking up notebooks, and those notebooks were saturated, those notebooks were dripping.
Yeah.
So there was a quantity of water, and it actually looked like there had been several inches at one point, and then back down.
That I'm having a hard time
But
visualizing.
it really, that's what it looked like. I mean, because there was enough water on things that it looked like it had been high, and then by the time that I was there, I don't know, sometime
We didn't have that much
1
water in the lobby that we have inches of water. So my brain says pipe leaking here. We're saturated.
Overflow goes,
I'm not thinking there's 2, 3, 4, 5 inches any place in that
You
in
know
the
what,
building first floor.
Tony, why don't we hear from Katie to see what they're willing
Yeah.
to cover, and then we can go from there.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, how are you?
Good. It's your turn to speak, please.
So, I guess, what do you want to know about what is covered? Are we talking about voting machines? Are we talking about carpet? What are we? I guess I need a little more.
You've got two things.
clarification.
We've got the carpet and stuff is just the physical part of normality when water pipe breaks. The Board of Elections is here saying, hey, because there was water in that room and the wheels were 1/8 of an inch underwater, that their doubt that those election things could possibly not work because the board was sealed up to 85% humidity, and they're believing, correct me if I'm wrong, that, hey, the humidity may have been high enough to possibly do damage to the circuit boards. Correct?
Well, yeah, we are talking, Katie, the DS200s, which are basically the scanners. When you go to vote and you take your ballot, you've filled out your ballot, and you feed them into these machines, and then the votes are processed onto memory sticks, encrypted memory sticks in those machines. And the express votes, which are for individuals with disabilities, I think hearing and vision impaired disabilities. And then when I say the 850 and the 450 machine, those are the machines that we do our logic and accuracy testing in. Again, we feed through that a known set of ballots through it as a test. We know what the results are, and then we make sure when the machine read those results, they were accurate. So that's what those are the sets of machines. How many that is total, I do not
About
remember.
175 pieces of
Okay,
equipment.
okay, 175 pieces of equipment total.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so at this time, you know, we are willing to send Invista, which I believe I have mentioned to Michelle. But at this time, we don't have any evidence that there's been a direct physical loss to these machines. So I can't tell you what we would cover or what we wouldn't cover because we don't have any evidence of a loss, which is the whole point of sending Invista. We need them to go out there and determine, number one, was there direct physical loss? And if there is damage to the equipment, what is the cause of that loss? So if the cause of loss is these machines were submerged in water and water infiltrated those systems, then yes, there probably would be coverage for those machines to repair or replace the lesser of the two values. If it's determined that these machines have been damaged by humidity, then we do have an exclusion for humidity under our course of coverage agreement. But at this point, I can't tell you what would be covered or not covered because I don't know, number one, if there is a loss, and number two, what that loss to those machines was caused by.
But you, of course, would be willing to cover the cost of Invista coming in to investigate, if you will.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because
Okay.
that's part of our duty. You know, we have to determine if there is a
I
loss.
think that's where
and if
we
so,
need to
what is the
start
cause of
at.
that loss.
And again, our position prior to seeing this 85%, 10 to 85% range from ENS was more of an insistence that we need to do more, et cetera, et cetera. However, our position has altered, and we are okay with talking to Invista to say,
Yeah.
what are we going to do, as long as ES&S is there while
What
it's
does the
happening.
investigation entail?
Well, and that's what we need to know.
And that's
What
I was
do you
just
mean?
gonna ask Katie, because their impression is they're just gonna come out, turn the equipment on, see if it works, and that's it. Are they doing anything else, or?
Something like
I
they were
guess
talking
we'd
about
like to
tests.
talk to somebody from Invista, actually have maybe Terry and Faith have a conversation with them and get those parameters of what they're going to do.
Right, and I can absolutely have Rob Honecker, he's the person from Invista. I can have him, you know, get a hold with whoever, or, you know, get in touch with whoever you want me to have him talk to, Denise. That's not a problem. And Michelle, you know, if you want to be in that conversation, you know, that's fine. But, you know, Corsa is willing to pay for Invista to come out and
Check
if we
it
have
out.
a loss, and if so, what's the cause?
Yeah.
And when can we get them to come out?
Yeah, the bottom line is we're already in March.
Well, I can get a hold of Rob. I can email him today. If you can send me contact information, I can see if he can get a hold of somebody. I can send him that email today.
I'll email you right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think Faith and Terry, who are director and deputy director, should be part of that conversation.
Absolutely.
Because I think
Okay, so then what I can do, Michelle, if you send phone numbers and email addresses, I can just say, Rob, can you set up a time to talk with Terry and Faith about what your process would entail as, you know, to assess if there's a loss and if so, what the cause of it is.
Okay, I'm emailing you right now and I'm copying Faith and Terry.
Okay.
Okay.
So will Corsa pay, because ES&S needs to be there whenever Invista comes, because they are the ones who, they're our vendor, and we don't want anything to happen that will void any warranties or any agreements that we have with them. I guess the question is whether or not Corsa will pay to have ES&S there.
No,
You're already saying they're 10 years old. right?
yeah, how much warranty could be
Yeah,
left
how much
on?
is
There's
left?
about a year.
we're at 7.5 years.
And I think
on a-
Corsa
on a
already
potential
answered
10.
that they would not. They want to send out their vendor provider to just check and see, and then go
Nobody
from
can
there.
touch those machines unless
ES&S is there. So if Corsa is not going to pay for that cost, that's where we're gonna look to you and say, and I don't know if that's gonna be, I don't know, $10,000 or $15,000, I don't know.
Where is that written, or where is that agreed upon that no one else can touch those machines?
That's our agreement with ES&S. They will not let us have other people messing with the machines. When we do logic and accuracy testing,
They're here.
ES&S is there.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones who are
They
asserting.
certify it? Is that what?
They're, well, everything is certified by the state and federal government, but they're our vendor, and they will not service them if they've been touched by somebody
Yeah.
else.
Katie, have you dealt with this before, as far as a specific vendor putting restrictions on equipment like that?
I have not. I mean, I know a lot of times that vendors won't honor a warranty if somebody else works on the machines. But as far as specific voting machines, I mean, I was under the impression at one time, because we got a quote from ES&S, or the board did, and it was just 2 lines, and it came to roughly $40,000. And I thought at one point the board was going to get a quote from somebody else to test the machines. I don't know if that was Coastal or someone else.
That was Coastal, that's who ES&S recommended, that was the $83,000 estimate.
So it's in addition to, not in
But
place
again-
of. That, a piece of this is voter confidence in national security. I mean, because really part of where the conversation that we've had at the Board of Elections is that we need to make sure that we're completely above reproach as a county, that we don't want the perception that we're Maricopa County.
Yeah.
And so part of this is making sure that there is a complete chain of command, that no one has access to machines that isn't certified and approved to have access to machines. That's why when Faith, with the double locks, when Faith and Terry go back, one of them doesn't go back. Everything is a 2x2 kind of thing. There's rules for the Board of Election that are not rules for everything else that you can even imagine in your world because of this.
Well, we understand that, but understand, insurance doesn't cover what ifs. That's why they want to send out who they trust to it, but I understand that it's a little different with yours. So maybe that's something that, gosh, what's her name? Sorry, I got radiation brain. What's our girl? Katie can check into if there is no exception to who has access but the vendor. Katie, is that something you can check into?
Oh, I'm sure we can provide you documentation from why ES&S seems to be there.
Oh,
It can't be one of you guys either, it has to be
their letter on the 28th indicates that ES&S will independently participate in the inspection. And they'll also have service personnel here to disassemble.
Correct.
So
If
It's
we,
not free.
Right,
Just
if
do
we
it.
were going to disassemble, which
you
we
keep
may not
flipping.
even be there anymore, but yes.
I flipped.
But they're always there. They're there doing the election. Anytime those machines are touched, ES&S, a rep from them is there to watch what's happening.
Because
They
Katie,
see-
how would those machines even be insurable for us if we can't use our insurance provider, certified provider, if it has to be with the specific vendor?
So I'm not sure I understand the question. You want to know if, I guess I don't understand the question. I'm trying to.
So what it sounds like, Corsa said, we're going to come out and we'll check. You've, because you've seen more from the company that we bought these from, that we have the contract with, has said, now, wait a second, these things are built from 45 to 85% humidity. And I would think, as an old electrician on fighters, that takes more than 24 hours for that process to begin. You're an engineer. I'm having a hard time with the thought process. But you guys have said that they would be here on site, that necessarily nothing's going to have to be taken apart to be able to find out if there is a problem, and that the people that we're going to bring in, the other guys could stand around with their hands in their pockets and watch.
Correct.
Am I missing?
They may very well.
And they're going to charge us a lot of money.
And
It's
for
not
$83,000 to have my hands in my pockets, that doesn't make any sense. We're
But then
talking
it-
just on the premises. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Tony,
Please.
the 83 is not on the table. That
Okay.
was the coastal.
Okay.
We're just looking at ES&S, which would be a much
Yeah.
significantly
So-
less lower amount.
On a daily basis, they've got a daily rate. So the original high prices were to open every box, 175 of them, pull out all of the motherboards, look at each one, so
And they've
three
already
layers.
told us that's
And
not
so
necessary.
now, based on this
Requote.
85%, we
don't have to
we
do
don't
that.
have to
Right.
do that.
We haven't got
So
it.
now
Coming out.
now we don't know how long it will take for them to come in
What
and
is
test,
it
but we
that you
do
want?
wanna do.
What does test mean?
We
This-
do want to
this
do
is-
a fire it up and then do a logic and accuracy, so that when you put in this button, if you put in the button that says, you know, Tony Badalamenti, it doesn't come up to say Sabrina instead, right? That the logic and accuracy.
But our insurance company can do that.
So they can do
if
that.
they're
So-
not messing with any of the mechanics.
And we've said
But
yes,
the-
and have
they still
Investa
have to
do
be
that.
there. So,
Yes.
but it can also happen a whole lot quicker. I'm sorry, Denise.
No.
It can happen a whole lot quicker because now they can fire up several machines. Some of us can help. The Board of Elections folks can help do it. And so but it really needs that each machine needs to be tested, looked at, fired up, done a logic and accuracy, just to make sure that everything's working the way that it should. Then we've got 100% confidence.
How long does
in
that
the
take to
machine.
do 180 machines?
We're estimating about 4 or 5 days.
Really?
Days?
Days.
I haven't,
About 8-hour days, obviously not 24-hour day, yeah.
is there any testing that you do to those machines prior to an election?
We do multiple rounds of logic and accuracy testing to each machine that's used in the election.
Isn't that the same thing we're talking
You
about?
do that.
We do that.
So why would we want this company to Invista, whoever? they-
Versus having one of you guys with.
Why wouldn't we
with
be
our
doing that
vendor.
ourselves? To do what you normally do for a normal election, of course those folks are sitting there to make sure they can do their part. And why would we bring somebody else in to do something that you guys do on a regular basis for every election?
There may be some in question that were like in the water, next to the water.
Nothing was over the bottom of the
But
rubber.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there may be some that were close and you guys are thinking, these are ones that really need tested. But
Yeah.
We don't want, here's,
We don't want anything with the election to be screwed up to anybody could point fingers.
no one
we
But
also don't want to wait till the 11th hour.
the hour's not the 11th hour. My concern is from what you guys just said, we do this test on a regular basis before every election to prepare for it, to make sure every one of those little machines is working correctly. Is that correct? Is that what you guys do? So we do that. So why wouldn't we begin that process now before the 11th hour with the people that we have on staff? And you could say, Tony, these 3 machines are not logically working the way they're supposed to.
When the testing, the LNA testing we do is more almost a calibration. I'm going to use
Right.
that
So we
term
would
loosely.
calibrate every one of them to
Okay.
see.
We're hoping, and that's why we need to talk to Investa, that there may be a degree somewhere between just the calibration and opening the machines up and testing them. There's something in between there that we think Invista may be able to do for us. We don't know what that is because we haven't talked.
But
to
there's
them
no
yet.
evidence in the things that you guys are saying that that's a feasibility. We're talking about logic of machines. My logic sometimes is skewed, but that's what I'm hearing. That we can test these to see if there's anything. And what you're talking about, if Invista comes in, they begin to take stuff apart.
I think
we
we don't know if they're
We
taking
don't know
things
what they're
apart,
gonna do
first of
because
all.
the information we have is not clear.
Well, you know what? I think where we need to start is I think we need to have that call with Michelle and Terry and Faith with Invista that's going to come out for the insurance and see exactly, because if there's no need for them to get into the mechanics of it and you're just testing it to make sure that everything's working fine, and then if it's not, then we've got the vendor for our insurance that's going to say, okay, these machines are in question, we should look about replacing them, these machines seem fine. How is that different than if we have ESS or whoever it is come and watch our insurance vendor do it?
I think there are 2 things going on here.
Okay.
First of all, for protection of warranties and things like that we lawyers make more complicated maybe than
Yeah.
they need to be. ES needs to be there to, if not participate, at least watch what's happening anytime those machines are touched, whether it's touched by us. The other thing that is going on is I think it is important for perception purposes for the general public for anybody who's going to be on those ballots, that a third party, not just us, but a third party be there to say everything's okay.
Well,
Which we may know already that it's okay, but having a third party say, no, it's really okay, I think helps with the credibility and integrity of these machines
But Denise,
and
what's
the
the
process.
difference then if we have our insurance vendor come and you guys test it and they watch, like ESS is gonna do? What's the difference? Because then the warranty's not impacted because some outside person that's not approved, it's you guys that are obviously approved that can test those machines. So, I mean, I'm just trying to think.
And I guess I don't understand. Corsa has offered Invista. We've agreed to Invista. All we're asking is that
Pick up the
there's-
bill for Invista.
No.
No,
Okay.
ESS.
No,
PSS.
Corsa said they would
Okay,
pick
they've
up
got
the
that.
bill. What we're asking is that you pick up the bill for ES&S to be there, which will somewhere be around $15,000 maybe.
And that is our question. Faith?
And I think the thing that you have to remember, even when we test internally,
Mhm.
we always have ES&S there because that is our proof that if something does come up, there's a tech there that can say, no, they did not open this machine, they did not unscrew this, they did not open this.
Okay.
That's our proof always that
So they are there
can't
when
come
you
back
get, when
against
you
us
when you put your
every
hands on
time.
those, they're there.
Every time.
So
We
why
pay for them
why
here.
would I pay $15,000 for them to be here 4 or 5 days?
Because when we do that
Mm-hmm.
LNA testing, it's part of our maintenance agreement with
Mm-hmm.
them that they're there. So we've already paid.
No, we pay them.
We pay them.
We
You pay
do
them.
pay them.
So you have to pay them
So
each
we're
time
paying them.
you guys fire these puppies up
Yeah.
to make
come
sure
out.
that they're working the
I
right
thought
way.
that was
One of their techs is
ongoing.
standing with you to say, whoops, that's not right, and they could immediately deal with the issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know, you look at this, a water line, a sprinkler system line popped in. Who expected that? I mean, not any of us in here, especially Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So
So-
personally, I'm good with just getting these things checked. And
Yeah.
We're March 9th.
Okay,
Come on.
so we've got, that's what Faith just said is answers the questions. It was that simple. Hey, when we test it, we do this too.
Where you been all this time,
So
Dave?
Katie,
Speak up.
I got
Yeah.
you know what? I got a question for Katie. So Katie, hearing what you just heard, is there any way that Corsa could cover for ESS to also be present?
Well, I guess I would want a quote from ES&S. I mean, their first quote was $40,000. So I guess I want to know what it's going to cost for them to come out and just stand around if Invista does the testing, or I guess if the
Yep.
county board of elections folks does their, what did they call it? Their logic
Calibrating.
and accuracy testing
logic and
in-house.
Because maybe that would be cheaper than to have
Right.
ESS come than pay $40,000 for Invista to come. So
So my understanding is they're gonna pay for Avista.
Correct.
Avista wasn't the $40,000. That was the original piece of information that was provided by ES&S when.
I thought it was
And-
Invista was
And
40,000.
Corsa has always said they will pay for Invista.
Oh,
The 100 whatever
120 something.
price, that was based upon what Board of Elections provided.
So we're
So this
past that, right?
$15,000
We're
is
past that.
completely
Okay.
new. So
Yeah.
you're saying for $15,000, you can have ES&S come out, stand and monitor what is done, and Invista can come out at the total complete cost of Corsa. So for $15,000, we can protect the integrity of the election. Is that what we're saying?
I know.
Yes.
I
We're down
want
to
to
that.
know if because of that requirement, if we can get Corsa to cover it. It's not an option that they
let-
not be
Can
there.
you get us a
so.
written requirement that
Yeah.
Invista's required to be there?
Yeah.
Just like they are there for
Part of
every
the-
time they
Yes
turn
and
out for
us.
every
Yeah.
election?
It is.
Yes.
Yes, that's
So how about we get that call together with you and Katie?
Katie.
Katie?
I emailed and I copied you
Yep.
guys. I emailed and I
Yeah.
copied Denise.
So the
Yeah.
small group you guys could, Faith
Yeah.
and Teresa,
And
you
Faith,
guys
do
could get together
have a
with
quote
them?
already? Is that how you guys know it's 15,000?
They have a day
What
rate,
we did
yeah.
was we looked at, if you, and I think it's in your packet, ES&S, when we were looking at Coastal Technologies, they were going to also be here because they were actually doing more work with Coastal Technologies. They were opening up the equipment taking out the motherboards and all that. That's coming off the table. So we use that kind of as a basis. It may be 15,000, it may be less.
Okay.
But we think 15-ish should be about the
We
threshold.
were approximating how many days at their day rate is kind of how we got that
maybe
number.
we take off Invista totally and we just have your vendor, that's what I'm getting at. If we can just have your vendor for 15,000, I'm sure it'd be a lot less than if we had someone else. That's what I'm looking at, Katie, versus paying for your vendor and then ESS. Why couldn't we just have ESS? No?
I'll interpret what she just said, is that instead of having course of people come out,
Yeah.
we get whoever has to stand by your side, you guys start the process, and as soon as we find a problem, then we go from there.
Here's my question though,
Yes.
if Invista is free, I don't believe that you're paying anything for them. Is it better just to have them on site, or?
Now you have multiple hands.
So a couple things,
Okay,
right?
please.
Yeah.
Invista per se is free, but it will be part of our insurance
Okay,
claim per se
thank you.
premium,
Oh, yeah.
right?
It'll count against
Now,
us.
It will, right? Now, chances are, I did not see any pictures that showed water on the machines, but clearly you were there and you may have witnessed something different. What I can reiterate is that Corsa does not cover humidity related issues. They only cover actual physical damage. So unless we have actual physical damage, Invista probably really doesn't need to
No,
be there.
and
But they will
and,
not cover
and what
this
the
15,000.
and what the group said, 85%, and we had nothing like that.
Nope.
And we could test a machine today and be bad tomorrow.
So if we
Electronics, right?
If we want ES&S to come out and do this testing and then they find an actual physical damage and then we put that claim to Corsa, we could do that.
I don't see how we find physical damage because
I'm
they
just
said
saying,
it's
we
not
could-
corroded. We're just seeing if it's operating the way it is, not physical damage, because there isn't any physical damage.
Okay, are you okay with that? To not even bother sending Invista out because now it's really at our expense, the 15,000?
We're not okay with that,
Why aren't you that okay with that?
because we need a third party.
Your third party. Your third party is the one going to stand there
ES&S
with it.
isn't the expert that Invista allegedly is.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
So we need, the course is going to send Invista to take a look at it, but they can't touch any of the machines because they don't have the qualifications to do that because we're going to get rid of the warranty if they touch the machine. We're going to have somebody on site from Invista or yours that would be there at the exact same time to test the machines to see. We've already told us humidity is not an issue here, but we need to run each machine through their logic testing to be able to find out logically if there's something wrong with that machine. And
Why wouldn't you or Corsa want a third party there, not our folks there, our guys?
I would want the person
why are we
that's
wasting
good.
so much money? I mean, if
I want somebody that tests these
is a
puppies.
waste of money when it comes to elections.
And I agree with you too.
it's
That's
not, but
we're not talking. We just went way off track.
Yeah.
The company that makes these machines says likelihood, humidity, very high likelihood. There's absolutely nothing wrong. So why wouldn't we have the people that are there when you test them do the same test now to find out if there's something wrong with that machine?
Yeah.
That's 100%. That's covering everybody's butt to do that.
We can have this call with Corsa.
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
all
why don't
of
we
us
do
on the
that?
call. Let's
Yep.
do that because they reserve the right to send somebody out, right?
Right.
So let's have this call and,
Yeah.
because we're kind of talking in circles.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
all get on the same phone call and this.
Yeah, and we
And
gotta,
Denise, when they have her on the call, please be there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would intend
absolutely.
that both Amanda and I be there if we
Directly
can.
need to look at the contract.
Or,
Yeah.
or, yeah, we'll
see.
be there.
And yes, could you please
Right,
bring
they
that
need
so
to look at the
maybe I can get it
Right,
covered.
right.
Right.
So that's it.
Where they require an
Yep.
ES&S to be there.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll get documentation. from
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that'll be a little bit better.
Yeah,
But
let's
sit on
just
the phone
do
call.
that.
That would be best.
I appreciate you ladies coming in
Is that-
a lot.
Is there anything else, Katie? Because we got to wrap it up. We've got public comment to check on, and then we have other people waiting in the hall for us. Is there
Yeah.
anything else?
So just to be clear, I need to set up a call with Invista, Michelle, Denise,
What?
Faith, and Terry. Is that correct? Did I miss anybody?
Yep.
You actually just set up a call with the Board of Elections.
Yeah.
Amanda and I or whoever will be there at the Board of Elections. So
Great.
we don't need more calls.
Yep.
Katie, you don't have to do anything. I will set up the call.
Yep. Great.
Okay, and I'll have the Board of Elections come up to my office and we will call you.
You can do it here.
That way
Absolutely.
everybody's on the same page. Sound
do it
good?
in-
Okay, and I will get Rob Honecker some dates and, some times for him to see when he's available and send that to you, Michelle.
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay.
Okay,
Sooner the better.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
That way we're all on the same page.
Thanks.
Yep, thank you.
And if you could please get that together so I can send it over to them so they know this is a requirement, not a nice to have. Okay? We will do that. Perfect.
There's no public comment.
There's no public comment. Okay.
You can do miscellaneous. And then I've got one little glitch that I want to, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm gonna do
Miscellaneous.
You want us to do miscellaneous?
Yep, that's
Amy,
all we
you
have
ready?
left.
We're gonna do miscellaneous since there's no public comment.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you. I didn't even recognize you.
I don't have my retina, so I'm in glasses for a couple of weeks.
It's just like, I finally dawned. It's like, wait a second, that's Faith.
Well, I was, undercover.
Yeah, yeah.
Witness
Bye, ladies.
protection.
Thank you. Great to see you.
Okay, I'll make a motion. The Board of Commissioners approve the June 2021 adjustments to the Portage County Water, Portage County Sewer, and Streetsboro Sewer billing accounts as reported on the adjustment reports submitted and reviewed by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Before I say yes, is that June 2021? Is that an accurate date? It shouldn't be June 2022.
They definitely double check the dates on this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to little boy's room to figure that out.
You gotta have that check.
I'm gonna go double check that because it
Put
may
it to
have been the
O's.
adjustments that were done in June of 2021, okay?
Okay. All right, well,
it's already there.
That is my
You're good.
understanding. Let me get right back to it.
okay. All right.
Do you wanna move on to the next one?
No.
No, because we gotta wait for Tony. We'll pause for a moment.
Jeopardy
Go ahead.
song.
You gonna go to recess?
That's it.
Well, we're waiting for someone to verify something, Amy, so we'll hold for just a second.
I think you,
I think that's.
I just need to make sure that the microphones are off for the Zoom call.
Looks like it's either March or February, huh?
What's that?
This report? That might have just been a
It
template.
says June 2021. It shouldn't be.
It was probably a template.
Yeah. I'm gonna check this because a lot of dates wrong.
I don't know which one they use. Up at the top it has one, and then at the bottom, there's one too.
It's actually February of 2023.
Okay. So redact that and we'll do, the Board of Commissioners approved the February 2023 adjustments to the Portage County Water, Portage County Sewer, and Streetsboro Sewer billing accounts as reported on the adjustment reports submitted and reviewed by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Okay, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of February 27th, 2023 certificate of the county auditor that the total appropriations for each fund does exceed the amended official estimate of resources for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2023, as presented by the Portage County Auditor's Office.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners received the February 28th, 2023 amended certificate of estimated resources for the year beginning January 1st, 2023, as submitted by the Portage County Budget Commission.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
In accordance with Ohio Revised Code, Section 5747.53, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the memo to political subdivisions regarding an alternative formula for the local government fund distribution 2024 through 2033, as presented by the Portage County Budget Commission.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Make a motion, the Board of Commissioners authorize Commissioner Anthony J. Badalamenti to sign the request for release of funds and certification for the Ravenna Coleman House demolition and being funded out of the 2022 CDBG allocation grant as presented by the Portage County Regional Planning Commission.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the March 6, 2023 certificate of the county auditor that the total appropriations from each fund does not exceed the amended official estimate of resources for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2023, as presented by the Portage County Auditor's Office.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion reappointing Ted St. John to the Region 13, One Ohio Governance Board.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Amy, I'll need a copy of that sent to Lisa Hawk for the One Ohio, and then I'll need a copy of that with your signature, so I have it. Okay.
Is there anything else to come forward, board?
Oh, we've got an executive session.
One more executive session? Yes, ma'am. Move into, where is that,
I'll do it. I'll make a motion in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1. The Board of Commissioners moves into executive session to consider the compensation of a public employee.
Second.
roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes. Come on in, ladies.
Remember, you just have to sit here and look beautiful.
I'm feeling good. I'm about time. Damn.
Okay, we
Make-
ready?
Yep, make a
Alright.
motion to come out of executive session.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Tony,
Yes,
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yeah.
is there action?
no action.
No action. All right.
We good, ladies?
Is that everything on our agenda today? Did anyone else have any?
I just have one thing.
Okay.
And this is, and I asked Michelle to do some, I was asked to go on a 501c3. And my question is if I do that, does that affect me as a commissioner? And it appears that I wouldn't be able to vote on anything the board was going to give money to, according to the Ohio Ethics. And I just wanted to bring that so everybody could look at it, because that's what I asked her to do for me. And I know everybody's asked us to do many things, and I was just.
So what is it? What is
It's what it says is that if we, as commissioners, sit on one of the nonprofit boards, and then if the board of commissioners gives money to that organization,
You can't vote on
we
it.
can't vote on it.
Well,
That's
we can vote on it. You can't vote on it.
Whoever is on their board may not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and-
that's it.
and-
That's
and-
it. I have a copy
yeah.
for myself.
Yeah, because I
But-
know when I first came on the board, I was on Coleman, so I had to abstain.
Cool.
from- That's the beauty of
Yeah.
the board, the three of us, you just abstain
Yeah.
from.
All right. So
Same
Tinlin,
thing with anything with
You got it?
Habitat that comes across right now, I can't vote on.
cool.
'Cause I'm the
I wasn't
president.
aware of that, so that I just thought I'd share.
Well, thank you.
Anything else come before the board?
I don't have
No.
anything. Amy, do you have anything for us?
Nothing. Make a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
I thought you said you made a
Yeah,
motion.
emotion. Yes. Okay. Tinlin, roll call.
Wait, who second?
I seconded.
She seconded,
She
yeah.
said, I make a motion to
Motion,
adjourn, and I
yeah.
said, so moved.
Yep.
And I second.
All right, so we got Tony,
Sabrina.
Sabrina, yeah. You vote yes?
Yep. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Mike,
Mike.
Aye. That's my new answer.
So that stuff with the Board of Elections was pretty.
Are we off?
no.
Was pretty great.
Yep.
All right.
It was a great
I
job.
enjoyed it.
Good conversation.
Absolutely.
They
Great
just
conversation.
confuse my little radiation brain. Because I'm like,
You know, I think that's my problem too, is because I just get radiation from exposure.
because I'm
I think
glowing.
it's floating in the room myself.